Hello students, it's Professor Russo again, and the next thing I'd like to discuss are multiple choice questions. And if you think back to the metaphor of the hourglass that we discussed a few sessions ago, you'll remember that there was a question type called option posing, where the expected answer is a selected response. And what we mean by that is, in a multiple choice scenario, you're given options. And usually the options are closed. We call that a forced choice question. A forced choice question. So for example, if I said, was the car blue or black or red? And you are required to select among those options. There's no open-ended option. You have to pick one or the other or the other. Again, that's a forced choice question. And they are the most undesirable kinds of questions. And among forensic interviewers, it was thought that by adding an option at the end, or something else, adding an open-ended option at the end of a multiple choice question, we might be making the multiple choice question less onerous, less suggestive. We might be making it a better question. And while that feels right intuitively, there is no science behind that. And that's what our colleague, Dr. Nicole Lytle, found out when she recently did research. And if you look over here, you'll see the citation to Dr. Lytle's research. And yes, that's Nicole Lytle from the McCormick Center for Child Advocacy and Policy. And her and Kamala London did this research a couple of years ago. And what they found was, well, it does not lead to higher accuracy. That is, kids don't give the correct answer, the true answer, what really happened, more often when using that open-ended multiple choice question. And that is, as I suggested before, counterintuitive. Now, Dr. Lytle's research involved 3, 4, and the oldest kids were 5 years old. So you might expect that outcome with those kinds of kids. And there was a little bit of light in her research. You'll see over here that there was a higher rate of accuracy for children who were questioned where the correct response was not among the options. And the child had to self-select. They had to provide an answer that was not among the options, an answer that was, we guess, prompted by the open-ended or something else. And the increase in accuracy was from 15% to 31%. But even with that little bit of promise, that little bit of validation, if you will, for the open-ended multiple choice question, that wasn't enough to convince the researchers that this is effective. And you might understand why when you take a close look at Dr. Lytle's article. There they explain in great detail the paradigm or the setup for this research. And they conclude that right now, and especially based upon their research, there's no scientific support for the notion that having an open end in a multiple choice question leads to higher accuracy. In essence, there was no difference between forced choice questioning and the open-ended type question. So it was not the panacea. It was not the magic question for multiple choice. So what's the takeaway? It's a good one. We need to avoid multiple choice questions. And if we're going to be direct, if we're going to feel the need to use multiple choice questions, even though its efficacy, even though their efficacy is in doubt, you better follow it up with open-ended questions. You better follow it up with detailed queries so that whatever the child answers, that we have confidence in what they offered. Because we do know that jogging or tapping into a child's recognition memory can produce information that we wouldn't get simply using free recall. On the other hand, I look at a lot of these videos and I really believe that forensic interviewers jump too fast to the multiple choice questions. If there is really an overriding takeaway from Dr. Lytle and Dr. London's research, it's minimally use multiple choice questions, avoid them whenever you can. Use open-ended free recall questions. And despite the fact that it feels right, there's no support for the open-ended multiple choice question.